Today I want to walk you through some of the more complex aspects of the tie and fly socks. We're going to start with the cast on, which is Jeny's Stretchy cast on, essentially a series of slip knots. So start with the same normal slip knot you would normally make, and the tail only needs to be long enough to weave it in later. You're going to place this slip knot over your needle. We're going to put our hands in position as if we were making a slingshot and wrap our working yarn around our thumb. Insert the needle behind the far yarn and bring it over the front yarn. Then wrap your needle around the yarn held in your lower 3 fingers and pass that loop you've just made through the yarns looped around your thumb. You want to make sure that each slip knot you place is tight and clean by keeping your pointer finger on your right hand placed over each stitch that you place on the needle as you tighten it so that you can keep the thread neat. It's pretty much impossible to go back and tighten this cast on, which will already be super stretchy. So you want to make sure that you keep it as clean as possible while you're working it. This is going to seem super annoying at first, but I promise it gets easier and it will look really great with our ribbing. So I want to demonstrate this for you at another angle. You have your slingshot, wrap your needle behind the back yarn, around the piece that's going down into your fingers, and then back through the loop that you've created around your thumb. So this is what your cast on edge will look like once you have a few rows of ribbing added. It creates this beautiful, super stretchy accordion. In this section, I'm going to show you how to work your short rows for the heel turn of your sock. I know sometimes knitters can be a bit intimidated by the short rows, so I wanted to demonstrate those for you. The first step is to knit to the number of stitches that is stated in the pattern, which is usually a little over halfway. On the right side of the work, you're going to work to the designated number of stitches, and then you're going to work a slip, slip, and knit. This will decrease 1 stitch for you. After that, you're going to knit 1 more stitch, and then turn your work. On the working side, you'll slip your first stitch, then you're going to purl the designated number of stitches that is stated in the pattern, which is usually a little bit past halfway. And from that point, you're going to purl 2 together, purl 1 more stitch, and turn your work. From here, you're actually going to slip the first stitch and then knit back to 1 stitch before the gap you created when you worked your first slip, slip, knit. So here's that gap you can see. So we've worked back to the stitch before our gap, which is here. We want to work another slip, slip, knit that goes over the gap. Knit 1 more stitch, and then turn your work. Working back across the purl side, you'll slip 1, purl to the stitch just before the gap, purl 2 together, purl 1, then turn your work. And you'll continue working those short rows until all of your stitches have been worked. Once you're done, it will make this perfect little cup for the heel of your sock. The last thing I want to show you today is the finishing technique that we'll be using, which is the Kitchener stitch. So you want to make sure that your needles are parallel and that you have the same number of stitches on both needles. To set it up, you'll insert your embroidery needle purlwise through the first stitch on the front needle, and then insert your embroidery needle knitwise through the first stitch on the back needle. You want to leave both of those stitches on your knitting needles. And that is your setup for Kitchener stitch. Next, you'll come back through the first stitch on the front needle knitwise and slip it off the knitting needle. Then go through the new first stitch on the front needle purlwise and leave it on the needle. You'll enter the first stitch on the back needle purlwise and slip it off the needle. Then slip the embroidery needle through your new first stitch on the back needle knitwise and leave that stitch on the needle. So one more time, we're going to go knitwise through the front and slip it off. Then purlwise through the front and leave it on. We're going to go purlwise through the back and slip it off. And then knitwise through the back, leaving it on. We're going to continue doing this until all the stitches have been cast off. You want to take care that you're keeping an eye on your tension as you work the Kitchener stitch, because you want those stitches to be similar to your knitting tension so that the stitches you're creating will blend in and it will look like there was never a seam there to begin with. The final 2 stitches you will slip off following the same pattern. And then once they're off your knitting needles, you can tighten up those ends and tighten up anything else you need to. And then I will usually weave in this end by passing my embroidery needle back through the work to the inside of the sock so that I can weave in the ends on the inside, usually on the top part of the sock so that you don't notice it when you're walking.